Welcome everyone to another session of The Swan with the Princess's Dream on Storytime with Momma Liz. We're going to pick up where we left off last night, which was everyone was looking for Princess Audra and Martin. They could not find them. Tonight our first chapter is called The Decision. Princess Audra and Martin made it to Naveen's throne. Martin requested, "May we have a moment of your time? This is Princess Audra, and I think you're going to want to hear what she wants to propose to help our mutual friend." Naveen had them follow her to the toadstool at the bottom of her tree throne to talk privately while the other fairies fluttered around doing their tasks with the forest creatures. Princess Audra remarked how striking the view was as the sun's rays bounced off the water as the wind blew, causing ripples to cascade to the bank. Naveen told Princess Audra exactly what she had told Diamond a few days ago. Once she was done, Princess Audra replied, "Okay, so when do we need you back here?" Naveen replied, "You will need to bring Diamond here 1 week from today." "Are you sure you want to do this? You do understand this type of magic cannot be reversed. You have to be sure your heart desires this change, otherwise the spell will not work. Again, I cannot change you back once it's been done." Princess Audra just replied with a huge smile on her face, "Absolutely, I'm sure." Naveen looked toward Diamond, asking, "Martin, you are certain this prince and Diamond feel this way for each other?" Martin nodded his head in agreement, answering, "I have watched them, and there is no denying it. They love each other very deeply, even though they will not admit to each other. Please come with us and see for yourself. We will be able to make it back in time for dinner if we leave now." Naveen agreed to accompany them to the castle. And before we go any further, here they all are meeting. There's Martin and Princess Audra meeting with Naveen. As Naveen, the princess, and Martin approached the castle, they were met by Vincent asking, "Where have you been? You had Nicholas worried all day." "Wait, Martin, is this Naveen? You took Princess Audra to the fairies? Why?" Princess Audra smiled and asked, "Where is Diamond and Prince David?" Vincent replied, "They're on their way to the dining hall, for dinner." Princess Audra replied, "Yes, I know it's dinner time. Can you go ahead of us and let them know that Martin and I are back? Do not tell them that Naveen is here, though, please." Vincent scoffed. Okay, but don't think you are getting out of answering my questions. Not sure what you're up to, but I hope you're ready for the Spanish Inquisition when we get to the table. I'll see you at dinner." Vincent headed off with Princess Audra, Martin, and Naveen. Vincent headed off, while Princess Audra, Martin, and Naveen walked slowly to the dinner hall, leaving Naveen to hang back. Excitedly, Vincent made it to the dining hall, announcing Princess Audra and Martin were on their way too. Everyone began eating, waiting for their arrival. Princess Audra walked in with Martin at her side. She began, "I'm sorry for worrying everyone today. I met Martin earlier this morning. We decided to go for a little exploring." Prince David welcomed Martin to the table as everyone continued their discussions, with the exception of Diamond. She leaned over. "Did you follow us here? How did you even know where I was?" Martin replied, "Like she said, we were just exploring. I was wondering, though, how are you doing since our visit with Naveen the other day? I can tell you seem happier and lighter since then. Did anything change?" Diamond shyly replied, "No, nothing has changed. I just can't hide it anymore. I am in love with the prince. The more I'm here and around him, the more I feel for him. I can't tell you how happy he makes me." David glanced from the end of the table at Diamond talking to Martin. He was swept away by her vision that he didn't keep up his end of the conversation with Claire. Claire giggled as she said, "Why are you going to try to deny it?" He was caught off guard when she nudged him after getting no response. Huh? What was that?" he replied. As he snapped back from staring at Diamond, Claire repeated her question. He replied, "It isn't possible. She is a swan. I am a prince. We could never be together. At least after this week, I will be able to see her forever in the pet chambers. Besides, I am to marry Princess Audra. It is what is best for our countries. It is our duty to do what is right, isn't it? And aren't you supposed to be lobbying for your lady?" Claire just rolled her eyes as she sighed in disgust at that very human thought of obligation over heart. Naveen had been watching the dinner from behind the curtains in the main hall. She had seen enough. She was convinced. She waited until the dinner was over and met up with Martin as he left the castle. "I think Princess Audra should talk to Diamond about everything that has been discussed. Will you make sure she does? If they choose to undergo this spell, they need to be in my kingdom before the moon rises fully. And Martin, make sure you stress to them that their hearts and souls must be true in their desire for the spell to work," she instructed him. Martin asked, "What about the prince? Do we bring him? Do we tell him?" Naveen answered, "No. Diamond can tell him afterwards if she wants. However, I have a feeling she won't have to." Naveen left for her kingdom as Martin turned to head toward the pet chambers. Martin entered the room and everyone grew quiet. Diamond spoke first. "Martin, what is going on? Was that Naveen I saw you speaking to down there? Why was she here? Why didn't she come to see me if she knew I was here?" Martin raised his hand to stop her questions so that he could explain. "I need you to come with me to Princess Audra's bedchamber. We have much to discuss. Please, trust me. It will all make sense once we talk with Princess Audra." Diamond looked puzzled as she walked toward the door with Martin. Diamond looked back inquiringly. "You guys don't know what he's up to, do you?" They all shook their heads as her and Martin disappeared out the door. The walk down the corridor was made in silence, and any attempt by Diamond to speak was met with a look of disapproval. So she cleared her throat and continued to walk. They arrived at Princess Audra's bedchamber and knocked on the door softly. Princess Audra opened the door and happily said, "Come in, both of you. I was hoping to see you tonight. I think we have a lot to talk about." She finished with a wink toward Martin. Diamond walked heavily toward the seating area. As she let out a sigh of being unsure, Martin petted her wing as he walked past her to sit closer to the fireplace as an effort to calm her nerves. Princess Audra joined them after getting her cup of tea. She looked at them both and began, "Diamond, I am not sure if you are aware, but I had the luxury of meeting Naveen this morning. This is where Martin and I were all day. Please don't be alarmed and breathe." Princess Audra moved closer to Diamond on the couch as she continued explaining. You may also not be aware that I have been searching for something my whole life. It was fate that brought me here, I think. Diamond, I have always felt trapped, dying to be set free. I never wanted to be tied to traditional obligation. Honestly, I was elated at the news that Naveen had a way for me to finally be more than I am today. Speaking with her made me see that the feelings David has for you is more than I could ever measure up to. Then I watched you and realized you feel for him as he does for you. It was a no-brainer what I needed to do. I just hope you are willing to take this journey with me for us to be truly happy." Diamond was shocked at what she was hearing. She hesitantly began to speak. "All I've wanted is to be with Prince David as more than I am. I never thought it would be possible. I'm in disbelief that you would be willing to give up your life as a princess in order to give me a chance at happiness. I'm going to need a minute to take this in." Martin interjected at this point to allow Diamond the time to process. "You will have to be in Naveen's kingdom in 1 week time before the moon rises in the sky. It will be the only night she will be able to complete the spell. And I warn you both, once more, that your hearts must truly want this to happen. Otherwise, the spell will not work. Also, this spell is permanent. You cannot change back once it's complete. You both can think it over, and we can talk more in the days pass. Diamond and Princess Audra looked at each other and both responded, "Let's do it!" Diamond spoke once more after a long roar of excited laughter from both of them. "Whew, okay. I think I will go back to my pond tonight to spend a few more nights in my home to say goodbye. After the spell, none of it's going to look the same." Princess Audra replied, "No, it will not. I say Martin walks you back tonight, and I will let the others know what the plan is so they can go with us." Gosh, this is exciting. The three walked to the pet chambers together, but only Princess Audra walked in. Diamond and Martin began their walk to the pond. Our next chapter, the spell. A week had passed. On the final morning, Diamond woke in her pond, feeling the rising of the sun warming her feathers. She could smell her blossoms on the trees and the lily pads. She swam in her pond several times slowly, feeling the water brushing on each webbed foot. She stretched her wings out and flapped them to feel the wind flow through them. She came out of her pond, shook the water off her feathers, began to waddle fast, flapping her wings. She lifted off the ground, soaring as high as she could, busting through cloud after cloud. She closed her eyes as to allow her ears to hear every brush of the wind, and the birds singing in the distance. She had never felt so one with the forest in that moment. As she opened her eyes, she peered down, thinking to herself, "I'm really going to miss all of this. I truly hope Princess Audra falls in love with this forest as much as I did." At the same time, Princess Audra was waking up herself at the castle. She walked to the shower, and as she entered, she had visions in her mind of what it would be like to have water under her webbed feet. She wiggled her toes in the pools of water as it drained. She giggled to herself as she imagined waddling through a pond. She lifted her arms, flapping them like wings, and continued to giggle with excitement of the thoughts of flying. She finished her shower and got dressed to head down to breakfast with Prince David. She was beaming with excitement as the smile on her face wouldn't go away. She walked into the breakfast chamber, and Prince David noticed right away that she was unusually cheerful. He asked, "Are you feeling okay this morning? You were unusually cheerful today. What have I missed?" Prince Audra responded with an accidental loud projection of her voice. "Yes! Sorry. I am great this morning, Your Highness. You have not missed anything, sire. It is just such a gorgeous day. You really do have a wonderful kingdom, and I've been honored to embrace it for all it is. You truly have been a lucky man to live here." Prince David just smiled, nodded, and sat down with his breakfast with a puzzled look on his face as he was not sure what had changed her demeanor. Princess Audra just let out a quick giggle as she sat next to him to enjoy her breakfast, thinking, "Hey, after tonight, I'll have to find my own food. What do swans eat anyway?" Claire, Nicholas, Vincent, and Princess Audra decided to take a stroll through the castle while they waited for Diamond and Martin to come get them. While on their walk, Princess Audra started thinking of her family and friends back home. She didn't even think of how this would affect them. She knew she would have to ask Naveen tonight how to overcome this. Nicholas, noticing her facial expression, asked, "Are you okay, Princess? Are you thinking about your family? I am sure they will understand and accept your decision." Princess Audra replied with a sigh and a shrug of her shoulders. "I am, but it's not like any of them expected to see me again anyways. Let's face it, once I married Prince David, I would have been bound to his country duties. Those don't leave very much room for trips back home. I will ask Diamond to write them a letter once this is done. I don't want to think about it today." Claire said, "That's a great idea, Princess. We'll be sure to help her." They all walked back to her bedchambers to wait for Diamond and Martin. Diamond flew over to the castle, stopping into the pet chambers before going to get everyone. She looked around at all the artwork that was done of her. She was amazed at how elegant and graceful the artist had made her appear. She just stood there admiring the mural. It was some time before she heard the door open. It was Princess Audra. She walked up next to her. Princess Audra inquired, We were worried about you, so I thought to check here first to see if you had arrived. Are you sure you're going to be okay to do this? Diamond took a moment and turned toward the princess, stating, Yes, but I think I'm the one that should be asking you that question. You are the one giving up the most. Princess Audra just smiled as they began to walk out of the room. They were met by Prince David. He could sense there was something going on, but he chose to ignore the feeling as he stated, Princess Audra, we have some plans to work out in regard to our wedding. Princess Audra had answered with a smirk as she looked at Diamond slightly. Yes, I know, but do you mind if we speak of those plans tomorrow? Diamond and I have something we need to do that will take most of the evening. Prince David nodded his head as he sighed, moving aside to allow them to pass. Diamond and Princess Audra went to her bedchambers to get Claire, Vincent, Martin, and Nicholas. Naveen met them all just outside the castle. Diamond, in a surprised tone, asked, Naveen, what are you doing here? How did you know we'd be coming? Naveen just smiled as she responded, I had a feeling, my dear. The entire group walked to Naveen's kingdom with very little talking. Diamond and Princess Audra periodically would look at each other and giggle with excitement. As they arrived, they could all see the forest creatures had also shown up for the event. Naveen, sensing the many questions coming from Diamond and Princess Audra, turned to them both, stating to all who could hear, As the moon rises, I will begin the incantation that will change Diamond and Princess Audra. Their essence will be lifted out of their bodies and travel to the other as their lives are rewritten in the minds of all who know them. Once they enter the new form, their outward appearance will be different as to reflect who they are within their souls. They will be transported back in time for a brief moment as to have the memories of their loved ones reflect the form they have been changed into. They will keep their memories as they are now, but will have gained the memories of each other's lives. She continued the last bit as she turned to Princess Audra and Diamond. The love the prince feels for Diamond in his heart will be revealed to him when he sees her in her new form. With that, she motioned for Diamond and Princess Audra to walk with her. Diamond was glowing with the biggest smile as they walked to the clearing, just past Naveen's throne. As the moon started to rise, it could be seen by all from the top of the mountains. It looked as though it were reaching out to them, as its shadow casted a light gray covering on the mountains. Naveen instructed Princess Audra and Diamond to hold on to each other, and to her to create a circle. She reminded them both that for this to work, they had to not waver in their desire to change places. With a nod from both of them, she began the incantation to be repeated 3 times. Moonbeam of love and desire, the creatures, plants, and trees of your forest call upon you this night. Moonbeam of love and desire, come shine your beam upon these kindred spirits. Moonbeam of love and desire, transport these kindred spirits to their desired vessels. Moonbeam of love and desire, bind these kindred spirits forevermore to their new vessels. After the first line of the incantation, a beam of light streamed to them from the moon, causing the 3 of them to spin in a circular motion, while being engulfed in the light of the moon. Diamond's and Princess Audra's souls were lifted out of their bodies and hovered in the center of them. They could see themselves still holding on to each other and Naveen. As they heard Naveen chanting, they looked outward to see their lives changing, but they could not make out their new appearances. The image showed as a screen of their life events projecting in front and above them all, fast-forwarding through infancy to their current status in life. As Naveen finished the incantation, Diamond and Princess Audra started to drift back to their bodies. They both held their breath and closed their eyes as they entered their new forms. Here they are doing the spell. And that, my friends, is all we're going to read tonight. So come back tomorrow for the rest. I think we're just going to go ahead and, well, maybe. We might finish the story. We might not. But come back tomorrow and let's see what they look like. Or did the spell actually work? Because if their hearts weren't in it, it's not going to happen. So see you guys tomorrow night. Again, if you are enjoying the book and you want a copy for yourself, it is on Amazon.com. Or you can go through my website, KeeblerWritingsLLC.org, and message me, fill out a contact form, and let me know that you want a copy of your own. I will sign it, put in a message, and you also get a free gift. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.